SpongeBob is one of the best cartoons ever made, and I already addressed that in one of my previous videos, but I intentionally left this part out of the video because I feel like this deserves its own video, and this makes SpongeBob more special, and I honestly think it's my favorite part about SpongeBob. So I don't really know what to call this. I'm gonna just describe it in the best way I can. So basically, there are these random instances in SpongeBob where something realistic would show up, like a whole person or some shit, or I I guess I'll just give you guys the examples. Let's start off with the most infamous one, which is the gorilla episode. This was probably one of the biggest plot twists to ever hit like TV shows. That was crazy. So if you haven't watched it, there was a gorilla outside SpongeBob's house, and I'm fucking terrified. I'm like, what are they gonna do about this gorilla? SpongeBob seems unfazed by this, but it actually turned out to just be Patrick. So it seemed all good, right? Oh, the gorilla was just Patrick. There's no real gorilla. But then another Patrick shows up. I'm like, what? And then that Patrick reveals himself to be a fucking gorilla. And this sent so many emotions through my body when I was a kid. Shock, fear, betrayal. I was just completely blown away by this. But anyway, let me get real for a second. So this gorilla is a real well, not a real gorilla, but it's a real person in a gorilla outfit, and it just looks really funny because he's in the like cartoon world in a cartoon setting, and that gorilla just pops out, and then he just starts like beating the fuck up. He grabs Patrick and Sandy and just starts abusing the shit out of them, throwing them left and right. Like, it's crazy. He is torturing these two. But then the end just makes even less sense because zebra comes out of nowhere. Then the gorilla, the gorilla starts talking, and then they just ride off into the sunset. Just imagine hearing me talking about this without context. Like, imagine you don't know what SpongeBob is, and I just told you all of this. You'd probably think that I'm fucking insane. But also, in the end of the episode, you just see a family watching the episode on their TV, which makes it even more random and funny. But I think just the randomness of the scene is what makes it special. It's one of the most iconic SpongeBob episodes. But this next episode is the one where SpongeBob gets really sick and he has to go to the doctor, but Patrick urges SpongeBob not to go, and I don't blame Patrick at all. The doctor is terrifying, man. I hate going to the doctor. And then they give him medicine. I don't want to take that shit. But anyway, SpongeBob goes to the doctor. He gets his treatment, and in his treatment, a real life huge giant hand shows up, grabs SpongeBob, and then uses him like a real life sponge. He washes dishes and shit like that. It's just so random, but it's also very clever, right? And but it just looks funny like a real sponge, and then you hear SpongeBob just going like, "Oh yeah, this feels good," or I don't fucking remember some shit like that. And it's really funny. It's really clever. And then next up, there's this episode where Mr. Krabs is just in the middle of the ocean, which aren't they under the water? I don't know. But anyway, he's just alone with his cash register, and then the Flying Dutchman comes. I forgot why he comes, but he comes. Then they were fighting for the cash register, and the Dutchman gets smacked in the head by I think it was Sandy's helicopter, and he ends up falling to the bottom of the ocean, where he lands in a locker. Well, whenever he wakes up, and then there's just a sock in his face, and then he's in a locker, and then there's a fucking man, a human, just standing there with a bunch of socks, throwing them at the Flying Dutchman. It doesn't make sense. Like, can this guy breathe underwater? I don't know. I think it's really funny though, cause it just looks so funny. They're actually underwater, and this guy's just he's just chilling there. I think it's supposed to be like a reference to Davy Jones' locker or some shit. I don't know. I'm not really too familiar with that, but I think it just looks really funny. Speaking of the Flying Dutchman, in the episode where SpongeBob and Patrick are stuck in the Flying Dutchman ship, they have to get out, right? They have to escape, but there's only one way to get out, and that is through the perfume department, which is literally just a perfume store. People, real people, humans just in a perfume store wandering around, and they're going through it. Like, how does this make any sense at all? Like, they're underwater on a ship, but there's a room leading to the perfume store. Like, is that like a portal or some shit? And then when SpongeBob and Patrick enter it, they're just getting sprayed left and right. Like, that's messed up. Like, they're just spraying perfume in their face. Those are some evil humans right there. But even though it's confusing and it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't need to make any sense, god damn it. It's SpongeBob, it's a cartoon, and it's a really funny and random moment. I think it's an amazing like scene. I think it's really funny and creative. But yeah, let's get to the next one, and I'm gonna just say if you're a sensitive person, I suggest that you click off this video because this next clip has stuck fear into many people's hearts all across the world, giving people nightmares, making them have a hard time sleeping at night. It's horrible. Because when I first watched this episode, it just happened out of nowhere, just like that. Boom, snap. It just happened. So let me just let the scene speak for itself. So the fact that the butterfly was so zoomed in was terrifying, and that sound that it made, nah, that's legit shit out of nightmares. It traumatized me as a kid. I was terrified of butterflies for the rest of my life. It's just really creative. But anyway, then there's the Christmas. Well, there's a bunch of SpongeBob Christmas episodes, but I'm talking about the one where Squidward is the goat at the end because he pretends to be Santa Claus and gives people gifts because SpongeBob, his only wish was for Santa to come to Bikini Bottom and bring joy to everyone, right? So Squidward does a good deed, and because of that, the real Santa Claus shows up and he congratulates Squidward. Like it just happens out of nowhere. He's under the sea and he's just there like a real life Santa Claus. And like I've said before, real humans in a cartoon setting just looks really funny. It looks out of place, but that's what makes it enjoyable. And this applies to Santa as well. But then Santa Claus just starts to lose his mind. I really don't know what's up with that, but it's a great scene. Next, I want to talk about the episode where Squidward and SpongeBob are working in the Krusty Krab at night. I forgot what it's called, but the lights keep on getting flickered on and off, on and off. And then whenever the bus shows up outside, a mysterious figure gets dropped off, and it kind of looks like Among Us. But anyway, Squidward thinks, or he knows that's the hat-slinging slasher. But no, it just turns out to be some ordinary dude. So they're like, who the hell is messing with these lights? And then we find out that it's this dude right here. And when I was little, this dude scared the freaking crap out of me, man. But anyway, the moment is super creative. It's super random because, like I said, it's another like real human underwater. Also, it's black and white, so that adds on to the effect. And it's just so random. Like what? It doesn't make any sense at all. Well, I don't know. It might be like a reference to that character. He might like fuck with lights or some shit. I don't know. I know he's from a really old horror movie, but you know, there might be another deeper meaning that I don't get. But those are all the moments that I can really think about of like real people or just realistic shit happening in SpongeBob. I think it's really special. I think it makes SpongeBob more special, and they're just really funny and entertaining scenes. But that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you think of these scenes. What's your favorite scene out of these? And yeah, see y'all next time and take care.